I'm here, Rosie Tran, with the wonderful, hilarious, and talented Tommy Pistol.
Hi, everyone.
And we have our very special guest, Ike.
Hey, brother. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for doing it. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it more than you can imagine. All the things I have going on.
So you're a director, producer, weed connoisseur, porn retired director /
I am a busy man. You can see it. You can see it in my eyes. I try to be humble about it, but it's becoming impossible.
I've been in the business for about 14 years. Is that how long have you been in?
I've been in the business. I did my first. He won't care. I did my first Jim Lane orgy scene in probably 2010. That's everyone's first
Was
scene.
that your first scene in orgy?
2010. Yeah, it was a pool scene.
Were you nervous?
I got tested just in case. And
Smart.
Because I didn't know. You know, some people can get hard in front of cameras, some people can't. So, I was rocking a boner, dude, and Jim Lane was like, "Are you tested?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you sure, dude?" Because this is before you could just whip it out.
Yeah.
I was like, "No."
We went on honesty.
I ran inside, grabbed my backpack, and I was like, "Look."
Whoa. So I'm not in the industry. I need to
yes.
know the lingo. What does that mean, tested?
Well, tested is basically you're approved to work.
Okay, and for the listeners and the watchers at home who might not know.
So our industry, it isn't all like we find you on the street and we'll have sex with you.
It's not.
It's not?
Even though everyone thinks that because of some stupid movie that was made in the 90s that I can't say.
Say whatever you want to say.
Everything's based on that movie.
So getting tested, what is like you can have a boner on camera?
Well, one, getting tested, that's become a priority in our industry. And it used to be 30 days. And before it was 30 days, I don't think there was...
I think it was 30 days. It was 30 days for sure, 10 years ago. Days? That was AIM. Those 30 days.
So AIM was a place where you go and you get your
STD
blood
test.
Yeah, STD and HIV test. Or... Am I wrong?
There's a few. Don't get me lying.
Oh, no.
But there's also a boner test.
It's chlamydia.
Well, a boner test
is your first scene.
Yeah.
Your boner test is your first scene.
So my boner test.
Because you don't know what any of the ED medications are or anything at that point. Like Viagra, any of that. None of those things even exist in your realm. You're just like... There's 3 hot chicks in a hot tub and 2 dudes that I've never heard of, and I'm just rocking one. And I jumped out of the hot tub, and Jim Lane was like, "Dude, I'll toss you a couple $100, man. See what you can do." And I was like, and I left, and the rest is history.
It is that easy. It is literally that easy.
Next thing you know, I'm Ike Diezel. The rest is history.
Yeah. Just so people know, to work in the industry at this point, you have to get tested, and we do work with people with only tests. If you're a professional and you're working for a legit company, they will ask to see a test. And
because of the big scare, right? There was a big I saw porndemic.
It's to keep us safe too.
Yeah, and that's a regulation that we formed amongst ourselves. It's not like any government officials came in.
Oh no, we forgot to look up the laws from last week.
I did look it up.
You sent me a text. We forgot to. So last week on the podcast, we were talking about the fisting rule.
Okay. Why is 4 okay, but not 5?
Right, not 5.
That was the thing.
So then we're like, who made this
law? Wait a minute.
And we wanted to look up the California regulations and talk about it, and we totally forgot.
Is there some kind of dexterity to your thumb that could injure someone or something? Does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense because some companies are like,
it's with
selling. It's with selling the DVDs, and I think that's the thing. So online, you could get away with a whole fist, but if they're selling it also for DVD, you have to only use 4. That was like a main rule that
we're trying to look at all the rules and be like, first of all, who decided this? And
somebody had
if it's a law, that means legislators had to vote on it.
They're like, you can't stick your whole hand in her butt, bro. or his butt. You're like,
can
you
you
can't stick your
4?
hand in his butt or her butt.
Okay, 4's okay.
Yeah, 4's okay.
That was the thing.
4's okay because we've tried it, and 5 is just too much.
It's just too much. What if you have a really small hand though?
I think that qualifies.
You know what?
I think they should make an exemption
if
for
there's
that.
space, I'm like,
They should make an exemption.
let me help out a little. I'll throw in a few fingers.
A little bit of oil.
Yeah. There you
Okay, so did you always know this is a sex education? I'm using quotations because neither Tommy nor I have any PhDs in
No,
sex
whatsoever.
anything.
We're going
Sex-
on.
Tommy kind of does.
Sex education.
If 10,000 hours like
Just a
makes
piece
you a
of paper.
professional, I guess I got it.
I've got 6. He's got 10.
Yeah. So there you go.
So what made you decide, did you have an experience when you were like younger? Did you like what made you decide, hey, I want to do this?
I
And don't be like, I'm a dude.
No,
Chicks, bro.
when I was 18, I
Air quotes.
I had this premonition that I was going to be in the porn industry. I don't know what it was.
Really?
Did you have it too?
I
had it.
I always loved watching porn. I collected it. When I had too much, I would give it away.
Me too.
Like,
remember the
bags?
remember the blue VHSs? And
Yeah,
stuff?
it just
Yeah,
I
they were
would
best.
just. It was like Christmas. I was like, "Who wants porn?" And everyone would be like, "All right, I'm coming
You'd be
over."
like, yeah. So we're kind of the same.
Yeah,
I had this weird premonition. Like I just had this instinctual thing, even way before I got into porn. Like I just kind of knew I was going to do porn. I don't know if life is not that big of a riddle to me. I don't know how you would explain it, but I just had a feeling I was going
Sounds
to do
like
porn
a
someday.
spiritual experience.
I always wanted to know if I could do it. I watched so much, and I was like, I need to know if I can
Scrap
do
the base
this.
if you're having a shitty day.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it was Joanna Angel who gave me my first scene, and then that was the start of it. But until then, I was just, it was one of those, like every guy who ever watched it, was like, I could do that. What, can I do that? I wonder if I could do that.
They can't do it.
No, and thank God not everybody can do it
Have
because
you been in those orgy scenes where it's just like, this
Okay,
ain't,
so
yeah.
talk about that. That's really interesting.
So
we've been as a couple probably.
I've always wondered.
Where me and you were just dominating the scene, and everyone else is just like, "What are you doing? You need to get over here. What is happening?"
So stop. So I've always wondered about this. Okay, so you're in a scene. There's like 10 guys, 20 guys, 30 guys. Are there guys that are amateur guys that just can't cut it? And what happens? Do they get pushed out by like?
No.
Are there producers that are like, okay, we need to switch out dicks?
No, they get put in what's called a blow bang, gangbang genre. Like the directors that shoot blow bangs and gangbangs. I was in this fucking niche for like a year after I started. The first year, 2011, I was in that niche. You saw it.
yeah.
You saw me in that niche. You got to break out of it because if you get caught in that rut, not saying I'm not down. I'm not putting anyone down. I'm just saying if you like, there's certain directors right now that if they called me, I would still do one, but I would ask for a little bit more money because I know I would carry the scene and it's not fair. But to answer your question, what happens is the guys that are weak in the blow bang and gangbang scenes, they typically get caught in that circle. That's typically what happens.
Weak, not a good boner.
No, I wouldn't call it weak. I would call it just like presence, right? Presence in front of the camera.
I mean, when you're doing like a big orgy thing or gangbang thing, the thing that like blows people away is seeing all the body. So if not everybody has to be like rock hard or a gigantic cock, it's just as long as there's people in there, the presence of like, holy shit, this is happening.
This chick's letting these dudes do this.
Yeah, and if you see like
You mean it's overwhelming for certain actors?
well,
It's overwhelming for the viewer.
Yeah, the viewer,
Got
because
it.
they're seeing there's so many people there. So right there, their like fantasy is like, whoa, all those guys are going to bang her. But chances are all those guys might not.
Okay.
And the
They're
guys
just
who
gonna get
usually
their dick
like,
sucked, right?
yeah, the guys who usually like chat a lot and like, yeah, fuck.
They're in the corner.
Yeah, they're not really doing anything. They're just like sticking in the ass, bro. And you're like, get over here. And you're like, I'm good. I'm gonna
Dude, I've
be
had,
back here yelling.
I've had guys whisper in my ear and go, "I'm just here to drop a load on her pretty face." I'm just like,
Yeah, and
there's guys that have walked up to me and said, "I'm just here to drop a load on
You're
her
like,
face."
can you stop whispering in my
you not
ear?
say that behind me.
They do that. They do that too.
You're
No,
like,
no,
this is
yeah.
very creepy, and I'm losing my boner.
Yeah, that's true. I do. And then I step back, and then I have to. No, not really. Me and like someone else that's been around forever will jump in and just dominate it and be. We can't say their directors' names, obviously, but you know who they are, and I'll just look at the directors and be like, should we just take this over? Or
Yeah,
what?
they want to
There's just
see
like two
the
or three
action
guys.
moving and everything. And like, if everybody's like, no wood, then obviously cut and everyone get there. But usually, like, you see like only a handful of male performers that you see constantly. And usually in the gangbangs, you see like
I have
the
never
same
noticed.
guys. Oh, well, no one's
But
looking.
I will
The directors
go
are-
back
the
and
directors
do research for the podcast and check.
That's kind of hot.
Is
It's kind of hot.
But aren't those specific guys? Are those the guys that they call mopes?
They're most definitely mopes. I'm actually fascinated by
What does
it.
MOPE stand for?
Mopes are guys that I just explained it. Mopes are guys that when you start porn
Or whispering
there
in
used to be
Ike's
a
ear.
pecking. There used to be a pecking order. Remember?
Yeah.
Where you had to start with.
I have a crush on you. Oh my god. I'm really here just to stand near you.
Yeah, that would be an
Some
awkward.
dude comes out with a giant
fucking
dildo. Bend over, Ike. Bend over, Ike. We got you, asshole. We finally got Ike Diezel cornered.
So there's guys who
Okay, so what are MOPEs?
have careers and they're just basically background, and even if they never have sex, like they're there just to jerk off and come at the
And
end.
they still get hired.
Literally,
I
still
don't
get
want to
hired.
laugh. I'm sorry. That made
No,
me
no,
laugh.
but it's some of them they don't even want to be that featured. Like they're fine. Some dudes
They're
wear
fine.
masks, glasses, like they're in the big gangbangs.
They're fine.
Very Clark Kent.
It's a little weird of like, why are you here then? But it's like they like, it's kind of voyeur. Like I like watching all this happening, and they never even penetrate the girl. They're totally fine with it.
From a director's standpoint, hey, they can keep their dicks hard sometimes, like at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And B, usually those guys drop big loads, and it runs.
Is
You know what I mean?
Is this
It's
like
kind-
does
true.
that show extras?
Kind of.
Well,
I
if
was
they're-
in this, dude. I was one of these guys for a year.
I guess
I was in this rut where I was in a blow bang or a gangbang like 10 days a month for like a year. And I couldn't get out of it. And I called. You remember? I had to call some friends and be like, "How do I get out of this fucking rut?"
I don't want to do this anymore.
They're like, you have an average dick, dude. You got to learn how to act. I was like,
That's,
like, all right,
that's where I shine.
me and you, yeah.
I was like,
That's what people.
I was like, how do I stand next to these
Right.
gods, these Adonises?
Right.
Wait, I can speak, I can act. I have comedy.
The areas you're weak in porn, you got to compensate in other areas.
Yeah, and dudes
Next-
who
Did
next-
someone say that to you?
I
They say,
wouldn't-
Ike,
well-
you have an average size dick. You gotta step it up.
Yes, but no, they said you're slider and average. They're like your dick's like big, but it's not that big. They're like you're gonna have to like compensate for it a little bit. But here's the deal: the cool part about it is I listened to them and took their advice,
And it
then
worked.
the next year I'm shooting for the biggest companies in the business.
yeah.
So
No,
it took
definitely.
So it went from like, I'm not disrespecting you by turning down your gangbanger because they get personal. They're like they use the same gangbang blow bang guys and
they're
never seen
like,
it.
well, you don't want to do this anymore. You're too good for it.
Yeah,
It's
and I'm like,
I want more
I'm like,
money.
dude, it's like, dude, I got a gig today that pays 4 times as much. Like, hey,
Yeah.
what do you expect me to do?
Yeah, no, I've gotten those phone calls and
Sometimes
I was like,
you gotta-
I can't do, and I've gotten the
sometimes you gotta
response
take
of
'em.
like,
Sometimes you take them, sometimes you don't. You know, it's whatever. It
Yeah.
depends on your
I
finances.
learned a new term, mope.
yeah.
Is
Mope.
it derogatory? Would someone be offended if I
I-
said, "So you're like a mope"?
I
Or
don't
would they
think
be
if
like,
someone's walking around like, hey, I'm the mope.
No.
Like, are you trying to mope in on my space?
I'm admitting I was a mope in 2011, and I'm not offended. You know what I mean? Like, after 2011, I wasn't a mope anymore, but 2011, I was a fucking mope. I was learning the ropes. I was like, you gotta, but it's not uncommon. You got to work your way up and like learn how it works, and like you learn how to keep your dick hard on camera for a long time and shit like that.
So is there a secret for the watchers and listeners?
I'm not going to pretend
either.
that
No,
I'm
no.
some like
There's-
machine that
me
I can
either.
switch on and off boners. In the beginning of
Hot chicks
my
make it
career-
help.
Yes,
Hot chicks help.
it does help. Touching someone, like I had to do.
Okay, so is this a myth or is this true? So I am a pornographic virgin. I don't know anything about the industry. I just know Tommy, and I haven't even seen Tommy. I'm on. In fact, when I see stuff on my Twitter from Tommy, I block it.
I've never even seen you.
I'm so sorry about this.
We've all never even seen each other.
So I don't. So excuse my virginal questions. Are fluffers real?
They were at a point. I think
I see one a year, maybe.
yeah, it's
Like one a year.
it's very rare, and I think maybe
Maybe we need one.
in like yeah,
I mean,
who
theoretically, it wouldn't
I've
hurt.
seen things where girls,
So they do exist, but they're not commonplace.
Yes.
yeah, and it is like a money thing.
It's kind
and
of
at
a
this
fetish
point,
thing, I think, at this point. It might
some
be a
girls
fetish.
are very giving, and if they're on set, they're like, "Oh, it's a blowjob,"
Yeah.
and everyone's like, "Phew," the whole crowd turns to
a
her.
consensual blowjob is PC Nation.
Yes, but
Yeah,
fluffers, I'm maybe before my time that was more of a thing, and if there was more people hanging out on set or working, but I think if a girl was on set that wasn't in that scene and was like, I'm gonna blow you, I think nobody's encouraging that anymore.
Because it's gonna ruin you for the scene.
I think
think
nobody
it-
wants to pay extra.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's all.
Like, I'll totally blow him for
Look,
50. And I'm like, yeah.
It's funny we
about a
talk. It's funny we
sandwich?
talk about this because seriously, if you had $400 extra in your budget, I think it's a wise investment. Because if
Yes.
a guy's failing and you have some super hot girl that's blowing some new guy that doesn't know what he's doing, he's gonna get hard, and he's gonna. You can like do like 30-second clips, and instead of killing the scene, you could just bang it out. You know.
I remember one of the first scenes I did when I came out to LA. I apologize, I don't remember her name, but it was a scene. It was me and James Dean doming this girl, and she knew him and was friends. And I was like,
he was the king at the time.
well, yeah. And I was like, who's this guy from New York? You know? And I was just like, any assistance? Can you please acknowledge me?
I'm friends with Joanna Angel.
Yeah. Well, I was struggling, and she was for Ian Mackay, and I was struggling, and Dana Diamond, that's when I first like met her and everything. She's like, I'll give him a hand. And everyone's like, and I was like,
I love
is this
your
okay?
voices.
And
It's
she
so
helped
true.
me out. But it's very, I mean, I think a girl on set now, if there was another girl there and the guy wasn't, things weren't happening, and a girl's like, I'll help him out. I could see that girl being like,
Making her-
what
making
the fuck
you-
is wrong with me?
You talking about making you comfortable?
Yeah.
You see, that
It goes both
making you
ways.
comfortable is very important. Like just calming you down.
Yeah.
If you're having a bad day, if you felt like, dude, everybody's failed. I've failed.
Oh,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
failed. Yeah, everybody acts like we're bulletproof. Everyone's failed. So
Yeah, failing like
it's
just
the worst feeling.
because you're
It
naked
is the worst feeling.
and you're just
You're naked.
naked and,
and you-
nothing
and you're-
is happening.
And you're in your head, like you may have had a death in the family.
Oh my gosh.
It was something horrible, and you're just in your head, and you're just
yeah, failing is common. Anyone who says they never failed is
They're
fucking
full of shit.
lying.
So what happens? You're on set, right? You have a beautiful girl, but for some reason it's not happening. Nothing happens. Is the scene dead? What happens?
Well,
You
the
don't get
smart
paid. What?
thing
they'll
to
call in
do.
another guy really quick.
Yeah, the smart thing to do as a male performer would bow out and say, I don't want to waste anyone's time anymore.
Basically, maybe pay the director.
Or that.
Toss the director a little dough. Not the whole rate, but toss the director a
Yeah,
little dough.
because I mean they are paying for location and stuff like that, and you know you just the whole thing
We're
about
giving
this
up
time
our
is,
tricks. That's a trick. Hey, you new guys, don't use that trick. If you fell a scene,
Hey,
don't
you
give the
folks.
director money.
Hey, you mopes! You stay mopes.
Don't give the
These are
director.
stars right here.
If you fell a scene, do not give the director money. I was wrong about that because they will invite you back to set because they will respect that shit.
yeah. I mean if you're professional about it and you're like it's not fucking happening, I could
They
take
won't just like switch out to another scene.
well. It's either they have to call somebody and hopefully they could change it,
In time.
but because it's all on a schedule and they have their whatever location they're at, if it's not that person's house, they're renting it, so they're on a time limit. So if it's a dire, like it's a feature and you've already acted for 3 days and now you're doing a sex scene.
You got to tough that shit out.
That's when you gotta like Rocky dig deep. Like, fucking, I didn't hear that bell.
If you're a Malibu, if you're a Malibu and there's like 30 people on set, and remember when Robbie, I'm not gonna say his last name, but Robbie had all these big cameras before DSLR.
Oh, okay.
I did a big feature with a girl, and like I got through it, but man, it was a real similar situation where I was like, what's wrong with you? It was like 34 degrees outside. Now that I think back on it, I was like, what are you guys doing putting me at 34 degrees? I didn't know what Viagra was. I didn't know what anything was. I was like, what are you guys doing putting me in 34 degree weather?
Go have sex outside.
Yeah, you gotta
You're like in a waterfall, you're shaking.
Yeah, it's like, look, he's struggling. Yeah. What the fuck? The elements are against me.
What's your problem, Mike? I'm like, it's 34 fucking degrees. Put a towel around me, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Like for Wicked, they have been for the longest condom scenes. So after like a long week of working where you are raw and sore, and then that's how you got to end your week doing a condom scene, like that can go either way, because if you're not feeling anything, the friction or even the BJ might be great, but then once the condom goes on, it's like,
or even the chemistry with the director.
Yeah.
All that shit.
There's a whole plethora of like how things could go.
This is very
shitty.
interesting because I think people that, maybe watch it, they don't think about stuff like this, or they don't know. We talked about last week a little bit about you being tired, being worn down, being in a relationship and being tired. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, you guys have it easy. You get to have sex with beautiful women all day. Like, what are you complaining about? And they're not thinking that, hey, you're a person. As you said,Ike, you're not a machine. So things happen.
Things happen.
They do. I'm a human being, man. What are you going to do?
It is a very demanding job, and everybody fails, and the difference is how many times do you fail. You could be great.
You gotta be,
even if you got like a long dong. If it does nothing, you're useless.
I guarantee you, Tommy and I, if there were just random people on the streets getting tested and working with porn stars, I would be willing to put everything I own that they would not be able to pull it off. I'd be willing to put everything.
Is the turnover very high for men?
I think.
Are there a lot of men that say?
We all know each other forever.
For newbies.
There is always new people coming in.
We have a new thing coming on right now, don't we?
It's somebody described it as the changing of the guards. Like these were like the woodsmen, and then they kind of drifted off or kind of mingle around, and then there's a new group, and now like there's a new group coming in, and they're all no tattoos, like perfect skin. Fuck them.
Then you got guys like me and Tommy where we're just kind of like, we kind of just are like, we got our usuals.
Well,
and I got my good director's gigs.
Yeah,
we got our usuals.
You work well with a lot of companies, they will usually hire you back. And sometimes it's a little insulting when you work for somebody for so long and they're like, the higher ups are saying we got to hire other people. Because people...
It sucks. It hurts.
And they do as much as...
Peter did it to me. I worked for them constantly.
They go by comments also. And if too many people are complaining, well, they'll dial back and again. This guy's dick isn't big enough. And it's like, what do you want?
Too many tattoos. His eyes are brown. They come up with anything.
And where are these comments? Like on the comments section of videos?
On the website, you could comment like on Kink. There's things that were really good, and I've worked with them forever, but a lot of people like gangbangs, I only started working with them recently again because there was a long time. It's like, this guy's in everything. Like, I don't want to see him anymore.
Tommy,
and then they get cruel.
You gotta admit though, you cannot read that shit, bro.
Well, that's the thing.
You cannot read that. If you read that shit, it'll fuck with you.
As talent, reading negativity
is bad. But you want to know.
But that's everything.
You want to know what if you're going to be working, right?
But based on
it could be another company. It could be another company dogging you out. It could be some ex-girl that he dated. That it could be her and her boyfriend just sitting there just slaughtering you.
And it could be me after the podcast.
I'm not sucking my own dick.
Tommy didn't pet my dog enough.
Right. No, seriously.
Never hire him again.
That type of shit, literally.
That is some people do try to sabotage.
I'll explain
other
to you why.
People.
I'll explain to you why. Okay, I became close friends with the boss of Team Skeet, and I found my niche as a POV director. I just found my niche, and my numbers are good because I can disguise my tattoos, and I found my niche. It takes years and fucking years to find your niche, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they told me they tracked IP addresses, and 90% of them were in Chatsworth, Reseda. They said 90%, like the people making negative comments, they tracked the IP. And he goes, I didn't believe you. I didn't want to believe you. But we looked at some of the IP addresses, and a lot of them are in your area. I was like, I told you, dude. And they're like, all the positive comments are like Canada, Bolivia.
So
like, just like.
Was it certain companies or certain friends or people in the business?
People that you may have beef with in the past, or just people that you don't work for anymore, or people that are mad that you're successful. It's just part of the.
It's a small community. Like when you think porn industry, it seems so massive, and it is because it's worldwide. But as far as California, where majority of it's made,
Everyone knows each other.
yeah. So it is pretty small. Like when you go to like the AVN Awards or like XBids, like that's pretty much everyone. If like a bomb went off,
We
it
all
would
know.
kinda shut
We
down.
all know each other.
Yeah.
Tommy has a very good thing going for, like, not going for you. Tommy gets along with everyone.
And
Tommy is the Tommy's like the Keanu Reeves of fucking porn. Like he gets along with fucking
You
everyone.
kind of look like Keanu Reeves too.
He gets
No
along.
way.
Like he gets along.
Is there a John Wick parody?
I've been
That would be a
waiting
good
for
idea.
that. I had
Oh! You can use my dog as an extra for the doggy scene.
Dude,
done.
this guy gets along. He gets along with everyone from the bottom to the top. Tommy shows respect to everyone. Don't you get along with everyone?
Yeah, what I notice in the industry and like anything in entertainment, when you kind of are competing, but what I've seen is people who are this lifestyle 24/7 and only date within this community, like it backfires a lot. And the more people
Because it's too
We learned
ancestral.
that.
well, the more you try to date everyone, if it goes bad, like then you're making enemies. And now like this company owner is really likes her and was like, well, I'll never use him again.
It's
So have you
always-
dated in the industry?
It's always about that. That's what it's always about.
My ex-wife,
Ike, stop leaving negative comments on his kink.
How'd you know what I was doing? What are you, a mind reader?
Tommy gets along with everyone except for me.
I was making sure my phone was on silent for your podcast.
I made it a point to not date people in the industry.
That's probably smart.
It's
Ike?
the smartest thing
The
ever.
first 5 years I was a. The first 5 years were pitiful.
It's tempting.
I was
'cause-
failing scenes. It was getting bad.
Yeah, well,
Craven took me to the side and was like, "Bro, you're gonna have to chill the fuck out. You're blowing all your money. You're fucking up. You're doing good. You're getting good. You finally built your reputation back. Like, you're gonna have to pull your head out of your ass." He came over and knocked on the door one day. And
No
I'm
shit.
sorry. I'm just being real. I'm letting my hair down. I don't want you guys to judge me
Let
for
it
this.
out.
This is years ago. I had a plate full of coke, and I had 4 girls in my apartment. And Craven hadn't heard from me. We were like best friends at the time. I still love him to death. He's like a big brother.
Craven's
And
a director.
This is
in the
before. This
industry.
is before what he's doing now.
Yeah.
He would knock on my door and I wouldn't answer. I peeked out the blinds like he's my brother. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not answering. I was like, we've been in here for 2 days. We're having a good time. And he fucking let me in, motherfucker. He's banging
No
on the
shit.
door. He's like banging on the door. And he goes, give me that. And he didn't do anything with it. But then he didn't do
I'm gonna
anything.
flush this down the toilet in my bag.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take this home and get rid of it.
yeah,
Give me this cocaine. I'll throw it away later.
all of you out of here. I get your shit together. Door slammed.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of a wake up call for me. I need to call him and say, dude, if he never did that,
Yeah.
he just swung by my apartment, my studio apartment, Studio City. It was like half the size of this living room. And there's 4 girls and me and just a plate of blow. And this is at my 5th year marker. And he just was like, I'm an addict, an ex-addict. So he just swung by. He just hadn't heard it. Just like he had a gut feeling like, where is he?
Yeah.
I wasn't showing up to parties. It was like, doo, 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 doo. And he came in and he was just like, dude, give me that.
Take that off your hands. You
no-
think about what you've done.
No offense. No offense. Craven's a great guy, but he's like, oh, you whore's out of here. Ike needs to get his rest, and he needs to be on set Monday. You guys need to get the fuck out of here.
Oh, that's really sweet.
We have a
Yeah.
heart.
He's like, I care about your dick.
So
Get these hoes out here.
Yeah,
I really need you Monday, so stop.
That's a true story.
What you're doing.
That's a true story.
The thing about this industry, as long as I've been in, like I've said it over and over, like I will always respect it because it's helped me out so much. Not dating within the industry and keeping life separate from it.
How important is it to have your own private personal life that's like your little world?
More important than anything, because
It's more important than any fucking thing.
yeah. You if it can't, I mean, like anything, it can't just be one thing. Like you need to have a separation from, especially this, because if I think people are consistently like, oh, I have sex for a living and nobody says no and this and that, you know, they kind of become assholes. Because when somebody is like, hey, I don't like that, they're like, I don't understand. What are you talking about?
I went through it. You saw me go through it. I went through it.
Well, I mean, I've heard this person specifically, I don't want to drop his name, but like when you start blaming the girls, like for not doing well, you've hit a point of like, you're a dick now.
That's a low. That's a low.
Because it's
That's like in comedy when you're having a bad set and you're like, this audience sucks.
no one laughed at my jokes.
They're like, they're laughing at everyone else.
It's very.
yeah, they just
It's
they
very.
all just shut up.
It's very Hollywood. You want to know the truth? Very fucking Hollywood for a dude to be like, it's all the chick's faults. No,
Yeah.
it's not all the chick's faults. Because I worked with that chick yesterday, and I was about to come in 3 seconds. So it's definitely not. It's definitely not that.
It varies on, you know.
It's like,
I mean, it's not.
Like, the scene's over.
yeah, I gotta pull this out again.
And that's happened. That's happened to me. You're just like, why? And you're like, I'm sorry.
Sometimes it's not
like
a-
a dog who peed in the corner.
It's
You're
some-
like,
it is some-
I'm sorry.
You're just too hot.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not an attraction thing. Sometimes it's just chemistry. Sometimes it's just there.
Have you ever had chemistry with someone that maybe wasn't your type or like you were surprised by?
Exactly. Oh
Really?
yeah, fucking A, dude. All the time.
I did a scene.
All the time. I love those.
Okay, so here's like,
Is it like, and it's a surprise even to you?
Oh no, it's not a surprise at all.
you gotta like, I mean, there's people you work with a lot and it becomes a rotation. You're like, we really get along and we do well, you know? And then there's
If
peop-
you're alive in the business.
yeah, and then there's
Yeah.
people who it's kind of obvious once you start, it's like she does not want to be here or she is somewhere else or they're doing this. And it's
Typically
like,
brand new. I'm not trying to
brand-
judge.
No,
I'm
no,
not trying
but
to judge.
that's how it is. And
Yeah.
like the girls who are performers who have been in it for a while, they know like give the guy attention. New people usually like
The old school girls are just.
yeah, like, hey, how
get
you
this
doing?
scene
You
over
got
with.
it? All right. And we're not even rolling yet. It's like, let me give you a hand. It's like, thank you. You know, and then other people are like, well,
She's like, when is this over?
well, yeah. And it's like, well, the camera's not rolling, so stop looking at me. And it's just like,
You've had that?
yes, that does happen. People just don't want, it's like,
Sometimes your look is a little creepy though.
I will guarantee you that is true. That is definitely true. And I'm sorry if that's happened. I don't know. You're dealing with personalities. Like we're about to get intimate and you might never have met this person. So it's not always
I never
going
thought
to
about
click.
that. That must be really awkward to like get ready. You're like naked. There's people around and the person is like a bitch or something else.
No, that's when your professionalism comes in. You just handle it.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
understand
for
that.
people who don't know about the industry, like, it's not that like we all know each other and things just like work like that. Like we are dealing with like heat or cold
Right.
or location
Exactly.
or
You may-
attitude or, you know, I've driven to set crying. And then I would get there and I'd be like, okay, let's put on Tommy Pistol time. And everyone's like, yeah, you're always happy. And
Dude,
it's like, I am always
he saw me
happy.
crying in my truck one time before set. He
Yeah,
saw me. I
dude.
was just sitting in my truck crying. He was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know. I
life
just gotta
is
go in here and
life.
do this
Yeah.
set."
Like you wake up in the morning and whatever your job is, it's like, oh my God, I got to do this. And that's what we have to do. We have to go perform.
By
this.
the way, I wasn't crying because of porn. I was just Just one of those days. It was like
Life
it just a
happens.
dude just happened to creep up on the side of me, and I was like, oh, what's up, dude? How are you?
excited
I'm so excited to face fuck someone. Hey, Quays has me on 2 today. I'll say his name. Quays doesn't give a fuck. Quays has me on 2 today. I'm just, and what's insane about it is there's guys at home that are like, if I got to face fuck 2 really hot chicks, I would literally give my car away. And I'm
like
sitting
in
in
the
my
car
truck.
crying?
I'm sitting in a 2001 Dodge Dakota crying. I'm like, oh. I'm like, what am I going to do about my dog?
I mean, there's so much about this industry, and I always like try to let people know about it. It's not this like Wild West where it's like anybody could do anything, and there's rules, and there's consent, and there's feelings and personalities, and there's body odors, and there's things you just all have to make that work within those 40 minutes of shooting.
Well, it's a fantasy, and I think that's important to know because what I've heard is that a lot of young boys and teenage boys are watching pornography and they're thinking that it's real,
Yeah,
and that's not good.
I have a weird stance on that.
Okay, tell me, Ike.
My stance is that could be preventing people from doing horrible things.
What does that mean?
That means that those teenage boys may be doing things they shouldn't be doing. I'm sorry. I don't even know if you can edit this out, but maybe those guys were about to go out and date rape someone, and maybe watching porn and maybe ejaculating decreased the desire to go out and break the law and do something.
That's a good point.
Something that will damage a girl for the rest of her life. Porn can also be a parachute for.
There's pros and we've talked about. There's a lot of pros and there's also cons.
I'm very pro, keeping people's desires at bay. I'm very pro.
I mean,
I fall on that.
Yeah.
A lot. I'm like, there's probably a lot of pedophiles, a lot of crazy people in the world that turn porn on and watch it, and
it's contained in their room.
It's almost like a psychologist in a weird way. Like they jerk off and they get what's they get what's done. And they're
put
like,
the gun away.
Yeah,
System, thank God.
No, seriously, they're like, all right, now I'm not going to go out and I'm not going to do anything horrible to anyone.
Well, yeah.
I feel like porn play. I feel like I'll put it in a better context. Okay, I feel like if porn disappeared tomorrow, I feel like a week from now, I feel like the violence and sexuality in public would increase like 190%.
That's actually true.
I think it would increase 190%.
There was a study, and countries that have more repression towards pornography, like certain countries in the Middle East, they have more violence towards women and more sexual violence towards women. So I think it is an outlet, which is awesome. I just know that there's a lot of young boys that don't realize that it's not real.
No,
but it's also
I may be full of shit because this is a natural thought that I had without anyone influencing me.
Yeah.
I could be full of shit. I could be self-delusional. I accept that. I'll be humble and say, but I feel like porn is also a preventative measure towards like maybe someone doing something horrible to someone else.
Yeah.
I mean,
there should be like, you have next to your fire extinguisher, like a thing of porn. And
are you going to rape someone? Watch this.
I got to go out and do something. But it's like, all right, wait a second. Right. You know what? I'm staying in. I'm fine.
Yeah, like I said, I may be full of shit, but it could have some truth behind it.
Let's hope that, Ike, you're correct.
Yeah.
And if you're a serial killer to be or a mass shooter, go jerk off, please.
I would feel.
I was twice. Jesus Christ.
If I was sitting in front
if
of
any of those shooters would have been like, if I just rubbed one out, my hands would have been
just got
tired,
laid
And then I would have fallen asleep.
and everybody would be fine.
Dude, literally, that's my philosophy. I'm like, literally, if I sit in front of the Senate and you had your 60 seconds, I'd be like, look, if you took porn away tomorrow, we are going to have some major fucking issues, and you do not have enough law enforcement to stop what's going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
I also think sex can cure things. Like, if you are racist against Latinos, try watching some Latino porn and see if that makes you
Well, don't
a
get
little
me
more
started
loving.
on that, because I love me some Latinos.
If you're racist against black chicks, maybe watch some black porn and see if that makes you a little more more loving and open.
I love black
jerk
chicks.
jerk off to some black chicks and see if that helps a little bit.
Well, and then, okay, so we talked about I think a few episodes back about like the Midwest and why, like,
all the racial and incest porn.
Yeah, and it's like
Indiana.
like all the fucking niche, like MILF, stepsister, stepdaughter porn. It was
Which
just like,
that's all I shoot.
but it's like they're watching that. Are they watching
reinforcing
that curbing those thoughts, or is it reinforcing like maybe one day I'll do it, or is it like, you know what, this is fine. This keeps me.
This is a fantasy, and I'm not going to molest my stepdaughter.
There you go.
I got put under a lot of scrutiny this year, and I don't blame anyone except myself. I don't like blaming people. I just don't feel like it's wise. But I shot more scenes and worked harder than I ever have in my entire career this year, and I just did really well. And I had a lot of success, and it was all incest. It was pervmom.com, dadcrush.com, sislesme.com, and like they got staggering. Like literally, like we looked over the analytics, me and my boss, because I was worked up. I was like, man, I only got one nom, and I'm not dogging anybody up, but he's like, dude, you had like fucking 50 million views more than some of these people. Like, I don't understand. And it gets into the politics. And
what character were you playing?
I'm always either the stepfather, the husband, or I'm always a stepdad. Because I'm 37, so I'm always a stepdad.
You look like a stepdad.
Well, I'm POV. POV made a huge comeback because a lot of people don't talk about this. POV, the reason that I accumulated success in 2019 is because content was on a rise and none of the girls wanted to shoot content with me. So, not out of spite, but I just started booking top girls for POV scenes, and I polished content to the point to where consumers were like, this looks better than the content I'm purchasing. Mm-hmm. So they started going to POV on certain websites where they were like, this looks better than the content I'm paying for, so I'm just going with this. And that's what put me in a position of being able to be successful in porn. So I finally found my niche.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense.
You saw it. Maybe you saw it happen. I don't know. I'm not going to be narcissistic. But
No,
that's what
of
happened
course.
with me. That's literally what happened. And, girls can be mad at me and say, hey, you combated content. It's like, well, you didn't book me. I mean, you never. I have the best POV gear, and I'm not trying to suck my own dick, but I have the best POV gear in the world, and you don't use me?
Yeah.
But I'm going to book you. And then you're going to get a staggering amount of views, and you're going to get a lot more scenes in the future just because of these scenes. And that's because content was flooded, and I strategized, and I said I'm going to get the best lenses, the best cameras, and I'm basically going to shoot content, but I'm going to shoot it much better than how everyone else shoots it. And it took off. And that's my 2019 story. 2016, I was broke eating out of 2016, I was broke eating out of a trash can, but I was getting fucking 4 or 5 scenes a month. I mean, it was bad. 2016 was rough, but 2019, I was combative with it. I mean, and I also, even though I have this weird persona where the porn industry, I'm kind of this weird guy where no one's rooting for me. I'm a weird dude, Ike Diezel. No one roots for me, but I also had this really weird attachment to porn where I felt like I was saving the industry at the same time when I was doing that. Okay. When I was combating content, I was like, I'm actually like helping people that hate me, and I wish they understood that. I wish they understood that I'm literally doing this to keep fucking porn alive, to keep the machine alive, because content's going to dominate us if we don't. So I started shooting a lot of POV and just polishing the fuck out of it. Mm-hmm. So it makes content look like shit, and they choose that scene over the content.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just told on my tells. I told my tricks.
But also, you have another reason why I really wanted to talk to you today, because you started from the ground up your own weed industry.
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you about that.
Exactly. I didn't want to fucking beat the drum on porn the whole time.
So when did you start your marijuana company? What happened?
My father grew weed or grew cannabis. That's the politically correct word now. My father
You don't have to be politically correct on this one.
Yeah.
My father was a very interesting character. It starts with my father, okay? My father backpacked through India for 9 years.
What?
looking for indica strains in the 70s.
So he was like hardcore.
So I feel very
Jesus.
Yeah,
That's
Then
amazing.
Then he went to Nepal and lived in Nepal for 3 years. Kathmandu, the whole fucking thing, dude. He backpacked and looked for, and then he moved to Morocco, and then he looked for seeds there. He almost died from dysentery because he didn't get his shots before he went to India.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he fucking accumulated all this, and he got this girl named Maxine, if she's out there, pregnant, and he was dying from dysentery, and they actually got him to France somehow. It's very, very hard to, from Morocco to France. It's very hard to get the story exact unless I have one of his close friends here.
Okay.
Yeah. So Maxine was pregnant, 8 months pregnant. Okay, so I have a brother or sister out there somewhere in Morocco.
No
Like
shit.
like Greece or something.
The
They were
Maxine-
backpacking together looking for. Dude, he went to Israel looking for strains. I don't even know if there's. I don't know.
They have
I'm
grass
not
out there?
familiar with Israel, but I know that when he went all over the place looking for strains, and it's been instilled in me. The cannabis culture has been instilled in me since I was a child. So
was him doing all that because he's like, I want to grow this, or he was like, I just like a connoisseur, I want to try the best weed I can. Was that like the goal, or?
no, I feel like he was in a period of enlightenment.
Okay.
He was dealing with some Buddhism at the time. He lived in Nepal for 2 years. 2 years doesn't sound like a long time, but in Nepal, Kathmandu, hanging around those places for 2 years, I'm sure rubbed off on him spiritually. Although he wasn't, no offense to anyone, he wasn't a Christian, but yeah.
That's not offensive to either.
Yeah.
In no way.
But he was dude, I just got back from a monastery, so yeah, it started in 1973. I have pictures and all documents on this. He's helped founding a company called Normal, NRML, whatever you want to call it. In 1973, he was raising money for a company to legalize marijuana in 1973.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Okay. So when he came back to the States and recovered from dysentery. Now, what I've been told is that my father woke up from dysentery and said, the first thing he said when he opened his eyes, where's Maxine? Maxine was arrested at an airport in France for cocaine possession. She had it in her vagina. I don't know. They found it, dogs, whatever it may be, in the 70s. It literally collapsed him. He fell apart. Heroin, the whole thing.
Okay.
He fell apart, but he still had those genetics. No mom. Okay, so my father got one, just got a job, a sales job, and he went to Dallas, Texas. We're talking about a northeastern Jew from New York, Milwaukee, musician, very intellectual, very very cultured, obviously from all those travels. And he went to Dallas, Texas, and he went to a club and met my mom, and they had a 10-year marriage. Well, Mom, what you didn't know is that when my grandfather built the house, because my grandfather was wealthy,
Okay.
my dad was he wasn't a scumbag. I love you, Dad. He wasn't a scumbag, but he was those travels. My grandfather was paying for all of it.
Okay.
But then he cut it off. So what does my dad do? They build a house in East Texas, where I'm from, and my dad was in the garage. My mom had no clue to this day. He was in the garage,
Just growing weed.
growing like a motherfucker, dude. Dude, cops would knock on the door, and he would stuff me in the attic.
No.
He would stuff me. My mom doesn't even know about this.
Sorry.
Yeah. He was stuck me in the attic in a Republican state in Texas. I'm not incriminating myself. We're talking about, I was 7, 8. Dude, one time, Mom, I'm sorry. One time, they called the Boy Scouts out to look for me.
No.
And I was in the attic the whole time. And I was helping my dad. With
So you were
in the
helping him
garage.
from
Dude, I'm a second generation grower. So
That's awesome.
So the pinnacle was the Emerald Triangle.
How did your mom not know your dad was in the garage all the time?
he loved fixing.
It was hot for one, Texas. And my dad had kept it. I'm not really sure. Like there was a lot of tinfoil. It wasn't like now. Like now there's Mylar and there's like all kinds of sophisticated things you can use. But this is a kind of a curveball. But I just had a meeting with a couple of billionaires. Like before this, someone from a social media platform we were all on. Mm-hmm. The dude. I was just at a table with him 2 hours ago.
The dude?
The real dude from the movie.
It starts with a T, and he had a huge social media platform before F-book.
Trump? I don't know.
Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah. And
shit.
Yeah. I had a meeting with them about an hour ago. But I tried to explain to those guys. I was like, listen, they keep bragging about what they have and this and that. And I'm like, look, I've been growing for 35. I mean, I was 2. But I mean, I was probably sitting in a fucking, I was still taking it in. I was like, I've been growing for 30 years, bro. Like, I mean, even if you pick up some guys from Harvard that have only been growing for a year, I'm not intimidated by you. You're a billionaire, and I'm not intimidated by you. Because you guys just don't know how to grow.
Well, they're like,
I know that's I may be getting sidetracked right now. If I get sidetracked, get me in line because I do tend to like veer off in other subjects if you don't narrate me.
No worries.
But yeah. So the goal was always Northern California because Northern California has the perfect climate and the perfect atmosphere.
Is this your company, Evergreen?
No, this is a company that I do get all my soil from. I get all my utensils I need to grow with.
What's your company called?
My company is called sundaysfarms.com with a Z. SUNDAZE.com. Farm. Or sundaysfarms.com. We'll do the plugs at the end. Yeah. We'll do the plugs at Sundays Farms with a Z. And I have canazon.com too, which is going to allow all farms to upload when it goes federally legal, it's going to allow farms to upload their cannabis to my website, just like Amazon, except for it's Canazon. Sorry. Sorry, Jeff.
Fuck you, Jeff Bezos.
Sorry, Jeff.
In your face, you fucking
richest
prick, you fucking cock.
I want one of those big checks. I want to see one of those big checks like from the 80s from those magazines. I want a big check. You want Canazon? You better get that checkbook out, homeboy, because we ain't coming off Canazon.
Yeah.
We ain't coming off that.
Well, okay, so let me ask you a question. Is it true that in the cannabis industry right now, since it's not federally legal, it's still a cash business and you can't do banking? Or is that a myth?
I'd prefer to plead the fifth on that.
Oh.
Well, all right.
There are banks that are accepting cannabis money, yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I know whenever I go in a shop, it's cash only. It's not like, can I ATM debit? Which one? Like, it's usually cash only.
I will say this. It was decriminalized last week.
That's right. And I think in a few states, they want to, anyone who was arrested for it, they want
expunge the record, which I
which
think
they
is awesome.
Fucking should, especially in the state that.
Well, there's a woman, I think in Florida, I saw that did 20 years for marijuana possession, which is because it was one of those either 3 strikes or they threw the book at her, which is absolutely insane because she had a tiny amount, and that's 20 years is not.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
That's insane.
For marijuana, for a small amount of marijuana. And it wasn't even hers. It was her boyfriend's. But it was one of those things where Florida was wanting to throw the book.
I'm an activist against these things.
Well, I mean, being
I'm
like
an activist against it legitimately.
Yeah. I know for 2020, when you go vote, I know Bernie's pushing hard for like all 50 states to be.
This is where it gets complicated because we're going to talk about politics, but I don't want anyone getting personal, okay?
Oh, yeah, no worries.
This is my philosophy, and quote me if I'm wrong. Hopefully this goes down in the history books. Who knows? But I feel like Donald Trump's in a position where the left hates him so much that I think the only card he has left
is cannabis
to win the leftover. If he legalized cannabis, I wonder. It makes you wonder how the left would look at him after that. He's talking about.
Is he talking about it?
He's talking about
He's talking
about legalizing all drugs.
Is he now?
Yeah,
I know he was
he's saying
trying-
prohibition is bullshit. He's saying it's bullshit. He's saying if someone can't find it on the legal market, they're going to find it on the legal market.
Oh, yeah.
His great grandfather was a bootlegger, so who's going to know more than?
Well,
The
I
red-faced
know
Donald
he
Trump.
was
Who's gonna know?
talking about the opioid crisis, which is totally different, in my opinion, than marijuana. But he had mentioned the opioid crisis and was trying to tackle that because it affects a lot of his base.
I mean, painkillers, people need them, and they're trying to make you, like, even just talking from experience, my girlfriend who suffers from a kidney disease and everything, and she needs to get
I struggle from pain.
Some hard-
I,
yeah,
struggle, I
some-
struggled from pain pill addiction for a long time.
Yeah, but she needs these things to kind of get through the day, and it really sucks to have like a doctor's prescription and then have the pharmacist be like, well, I don't think you should have this, or you shouldn't be this with this, and it's like she sat with a doctor and get it. So
Who's
to
the moral decider of this?
it's fucking garbage. It's
And
really
also, pharmacists are just legal drug dealers.
yeah, and assholes. Some of them are assholes.
Okay, I am so sad, but we have to wrap up. We've had so much fun with you, Ike. Do you have anything to plug or promote before we wrap up?
Tommy Pistol. on
The
on
Keanu
Twitter.
Reeves of porn.
No way.
Tommy Pistol.
He's playing John.
Is it-
Wait,
how
what's
do I
it?
say-
John?
how do-
Wait, I
what
don't
is your
know.
What is your Tommy Pistol handle?
I will say that, sir. You promote yourself.
I know, but I like helping everyone else.
Ah, you're awesome, brother.
Man. Yeah, I would like to plug sundaysfarms.com. It is SUNDAZEFARMS.
And we will have a
.com.
link as well on the podcast description.
Sundayfarms.com, and then also canazon.com, CANNAZON.com, canazon.com, and
Rhymes with Amazon.
I would also like to plug in Team Skeet, and I would also teamskeet.com, and I'd also like to plug in 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu.
Hey, Swati Ka.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys giving me an opportunity to talk about these things.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can continue at another time.
Yes.
Well, I
and
love
Tommy?
seeing your career, not just performing, but your business. And when you talk about it from the bottom up, like I think that's amazing, man.
I know,
That's
you're an
why I
entrepreneur
definitely-
from the
Yeah,
Yeah, I
bottom.
was
totally
home-
wanted
From back
that.
when he was 7.
I was I was
Yeah.
homeless 10 years ago.
And look at you now, brother. Doing damn good.
Hopefully I can keep the momentum. I
Yes,
stay optimistic.
that's what we do.
Mr. Pistol?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at Tommy Pistol. You can find me on Instagram at official_pistol_page. I started a YouTube page with comedy and interviews and whatever wackiness happens in life and on set. And that's just under Tommy Pistol. And if you want to see me get freaky with myself, you can go to onlyfans.com/Tommy Pistol.
And I am on Twitter.
Bothered over here.
I'm Rosie Tran. I'm on Twitter at Funny Rosie and on Instagram at Out of the Box Rosie. This has been Dirty Change with Rosie and Tommy.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.